More. Some people can't go out unless it's in broad daylight with a whole fucking crowd of people that are sober. So get caught alone by a stranger that is sober. Everybody's demon comes out. No matter what, every time. Or if there's a group of people, they turn into a mob. You know, makes me think about, the rules of the world and why the world's all the way it is. See, Christ is the consciousness. There is no separation. There is no two parties. See, all the division is to lead everyone run around in circles until they get to where at is. And at is the symbol of the American flag. Out of that one image, which is each person's lens of who is looking out of your eyeballs, is Jesus. But Jesus, didn't ever exist. And yet, exists in every single person on the planet. Two people you can't get two people to hardly agree. And that's that demon in there that comes out and just thinks he can strike at people for no reason. That's why he's the devil. Until anyone can hold on to it. And that's why the world's set up this way. How the UK runs the entire world. How the Vatican runs the entire world. How the president in DC runs the entire world. And all of them are ass out. None of them go to war. None of them do shit. And everybody else is running around like they're trying to push bills through and set everything up or whatever. And then all it takes is one person, the Pope, the monarch, or the president can just go, sign my name. It's done. It doesn't matter what anybody else in the whole world says. Where's your God at? The whole thing about religion is begging the question about where is everybody's head at if it's not stick up their asses. If there's God has sovereignty. And so, then why is everybody separate? And if every single person comes from one person, and every single person is the same soul and entity of that entity, then why are there different churches? Why are there different denominations? Why are there different beliefs? If there's only one, and there's always only ever been one, and God is beyond, and yet all that there is. The only thing that's separate from everything is the mind itself. And the only seed that it comes from is that image. And so then that reverence, that crying for Jesus on the cross, everybody's just begging and crying for themselves. And doesn't understand the basic rules. One is you don't harm another. Well, why are there wars? Why does everybody want to fight? For no reason. To protect something. My family. But every single person is sovereign in and of themselves. And so what's a family if it's not every human being on the planet? And we're all separate. And we're all together. So where's the lines? Where's the boundaries? And what's one group against another group? There is no group. There's human beings, and then there's the aliens. But the aliens are the people, and that's the whole thing that is the question that's begged. And why I had to corner everyone's mind with the Bible. It's so terrible. You have the innocent, and then you got those that just know, and I'll do what I want. And that's why everybody's split up. Down, left, right. They run their asses off for nothing in order to give it all back and never have nothing. And then worried about what external things that there are to look a certain way. When it comes down to it, you close your eyes and every single person is the same fucking person. And so to strike out at somebody else, hurt somebody else, it shows that you don't deserve to have a body. And you're the alien in the world society. You don't deserve to live, technically. You don't honor the mother, which is the physical body. And each of us has to work on that in and of and to ourselves too. Because the body learns by us getting hurt and hurting ourselves. But that's the only way to bring anyone there. But anybody that's afraid and says, "Oh, I'm too good for that," then they stay in ignorance and innocence, and then there's a baby tyrant. Anybody that's seen the image half the time or more, and then they turn into thinking that there's something better or greater or different than anybody else as the terrorists, the monsters in society. And what's a group? What's a gang? There's 50 states. What? Yeah, see, it's called a mind state. But the state of mind from one second to the next changes. But we're the 51st. Where's it at all the time? That's the image. That's the mustard seed. That's the Christ. That's the lens. Like, without a mirror or whatever, to see it, one could never see one's own eye. And that's why it's called an eye. The eye. And why it's called a me. The I and me is everyone that exists, apart from their body. Which is so weird. Because why would anybody need a gun or a weapon the world over? By having one, for one, it already shows the ones in fear. And has it on the table. You're willing to hurt another. Anytime somebody's threatened, where's the first thing you go to? Run to that weapon out of fear. Rather than to walk away or to face it. See, there's where the question always exists at. Because people aren't safe. People don't know the rules. In America, as it's set up, there is no such thing as property. As soon as you register something, then it technically belongs to the one who you registered it to. But they already had it, but they didn't have it either. See, they needed to tie your name and your body, your physical body to it. And then your signature and your agreement is your mind. And so, nope, now we got your mind and your body. And now you're trapped on this thing. And now we can charge you, but it doesn't belong to you or anybody else. But we all have to share in everything that there is. At the same time as, well, anybody can't just walk over and go in somebody else's house. But at the same time as, that house doesn't belong to them. And if you owned your car, Then how could you get pulled over in it? Why would you have to get tags? So you don't own it. So you pay for something that doesn't belong to you. To have the liability to carry the weight of the whole system. Weight, yeah. So you can go fast. And then you got to keep checking in and handing them your ass. And it's made so nobody can run away, really. Like, where could you go? And they had to make it that way until the whole world could be one. But it was always one, in and of and apart from at God. So then when it comes down to it, technically, there is no God. Well, God had to be the only thing that could tie everybody's asses and heads and bodies together apart from everybody. And it had to be split up so that everybody didn't just turn into a giant cult. Because religion starts with the letter R, which is 18. 666. Rely. G. It's an experience of exchanging the corner of the mind. I mean, you're not there. So you're still an infant. It should be a part of a religion, technically. I mean, we're all infants of the universe. And so then in a way, no thought form group is any greater than the other thought form group. And by picking one, then that proves a limitation and a separation from God. And so then that makes one diminutive as the lesser and unable to support the structure in and of itself, everywhere, all the time, as a representative, as the. But that's where the word the is a balance of the mind against itself. Who is the? What is the? If it's not the T, where everybody's already at, supposedly, but you can't bring anybody to find it and see it for themselves. And once they do see it, then, traditionally, when people got that second wind, that rebirth, but it's just one life. After that, that's called the afterlife. But everybody before that are entities is separate from themselves, but he's in the back pushing them. And they're the slave under themselves already, but not attached to nothing. And changing their mind by the second and don't know what to believe in and who they are and what humanity is as a single or as a whole. There is no division. The great. Who's great? If every single person isn't great. Divide. Divide what? There's only one. And everybody's equal. That understands what that means. But ain't nobody equal to anybody else because I'm different than you, even if I had a clone. Because we'd be doing two different things because we can't exist in the same place at the same time. That's why they made America, the United States, the cross. For the whole world, everybody's free to be stupid and to have all these rights. But you be given rights, it still is a limitation. Like a baby. You have a right to the First Amendment, the right to speech, but then the first thing cops say, you have a right to remain silent. And the Fifth Amendment is, well, you ain't gonna say nothing. But we'll do whatever we want to you. and everybody can together lie and do what they want to you, regardless of what the truth is. That's why the law is such a messy process. Why it's drug out, why it costs everybody so much. And if everybody could just stand together as one, apart from each other, and know the one, who they are and what it really is, how could that ever be true? And that's why the one, who is everyone, for the last fucking 100,000 years, had to come at the end. 2,000 years after, supposedly he already came. And he never came, they made it up. Because they saw him coming, but nobody could see that or believe that unless they really went down the rabbit hole, apart from themselves. As a stranger in the world, looking out for everyone and willing to learn everything and know as much as there is to possibly know, and not to stick with a limitation of, well, this is my land, these are my people, this is our tradition, this is how it is. The closed-mindedness, that makes sure that none of those people could ever get there. Only those that completely already had themselves and lost themselves, who could lose themselves if it wasn't those that were attached to each other. They've always been lost, and they can never be found. So what's a cross? If everybody's there ain't nobody there, and everybody's going to find him and praying to him, and who's he? If he is not the mind, is masculine, split up between two guys that nobody can find, handing back and forth, one side of the other, and lying to itself all the time, and unable to look in because it's always looking outside and seeing itself out there and not seeing itself out there, and then mostly lost. Except for when one's in pain. Then he's there. That's where you're at. And the troubles of humanity and the division has been everything to me to know or to find out. If I couldn't find a man who could lead my entire life, then I needed to find God. And the only place I could ever find was me, here. And everywhere I looked, I could only find a reflection directly pointed at me, right here. While everybody else is holding on to it apart from it. And how weird is that? And the number 51 is Li. Lie. Jinn. Jinn, that's what they call a demon, a genie, a spirit. So, yeah, religion is, oh, yeah, go experience it apart from it. And Li is corner of the mind with spirits apart from. But each of us is a spirit. Is the mind spirit, which is that thing that everybody's going to find and thinks that they know and are at and can hold against anybody else. But what's there to hold, really? I mean, any more than what I've given here. And of course, the one that would find himself everywhere and in all things would be the one who would already always uphold everybody else's truth. And everyone would be divided against themselves and against him and have jealousy, have anger towards him, uh, try to one up him and be better than him, or uh, somehow to feel, oh, well, I'm jealous, like, because what about me? Well, we're all here. And if we're not here, where are we at? Because, I mean, other than your physical body, which ain't no different really than my physical body, and that's the woman. Instead of reach out and hit somebody, that's a woman on woman crime there. There's a couple of bitches. But see, that's why I got that tied to manhood. One want to fight another. Oh, there's a couple of bitches fighting. See, there ain't no man between them because man's up here behind the eyes and would never have their body reach out and strike somebody. Because that's not man. It's an alien insect. Who would ever want to hurt somebody else? Other than somebody that ain't there. They ain't human. They ain't of our species. They ain't even animal. That sounds pretty condescending, right? But that's the sacred truth. The only one anybody's allowed to hurt is their own physical body with their own mind, really. You know? But it's through knowledge, which is one of the greatest curses there is. That's why everybody runs from learning anything. And this, unless it's the way to run away from themselves, but then they have it so everything turns you back against yourself still. Leads you away. Or substance. But what's substance if the physical body isn't the substance and the mind is the thing that nobody can weigh? And yet everyone has the same weight of the same entity, the same seed. Why would we ever have to go to another group, another church, another religion, another fucking state to get something different if it's already here, everywhere? And everywhere is just a division of like rooms in a house, of one house that is one mind. Yeah, so it's a brain. And nobody knows how that shit works. It's so hard to know what anyone could do for human beings, for people. Because then the other problem is as soon as you help somebody and they get what they want and then they run away. If they can't get what they want, they'll come around behind you and club you over the head and they'll take it. When most things, it's just the idea of it. There's nothing really to get. And so there's where the ego is, where we're chasing something that doesn't even satisfy. I'm willing to die for and hurt others for. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. And when it comes down to the rules of everything, like the Constitution, it was written in D.C., which isn't even technically a part of the United States. It's its own sovereign, separate entity that is like it exists on the moon. Or it's in hell, or it's in heaven, or, it's like the mind. Well, where can I find it? Behind my eyes, and all I see is dark. And the Constitution, that is a concept that every single person in the world has to hold in and of itself on themselves, mainly to help others as a set of principles, but there's nothing really to take away from it as a gain or a benefit. It's a responsibility. At the same time as when you come down to the actual document and such, uh, every single state had to get its own constitution to link it back to DC, which DC was created by the United Kingdom and given power by the Vatican. As it was so, but everybody is on our own. See, and so, and the whole the we thing, we hold these truths of it. Who's we? Those in and of at God. That's man, and man has to appreciate and respect all other beings. The thing is, everyone else isn't going to respect him. And they'll get away with whatever they possibly can. So that's why everyone's chained apart from themselves. As slaves to the entity of system, which is all tied back to mind, apart from a physical body. But then we have Congress and all these different departments and shit. But then it just takes one guy that's untouchable, that everybody's supposed to be voted for, that can go against everything he ever said and can do whatever the fuck he wants to. And is protected by everybody. And we have somebody that can get up there, and everybody has a right to speak, you know. It doesn't mean right or wrong or whatever, but, you know, everybody has a right to have a voice and work their way through it. But why would anybody want to kill anybody like Charlie or fucking anybody, really? And if there was anybody that somebody would want to kill, wouldn't it be the fucking guy that everybody voted in that's tearing down the whole country by himself just with his signatures? That everybody already knew had a pedophile past, already incited riots. The guy that hired, Donald Trump hired, there's one guy who's an ex-police officer that was on the rioters' side, standing at the line between the police and the rioters, shouting, "Kill him! Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!" And he's an ex-cop, and he was one that stormed the building. And when his paper came across the president's desk, he got a pardon. He got a job trying to get people to kill people, and he already knows and is of the rights, supposedly, of being an ex-cop. And was trying to get cops and citizens, civilians, to kill each other while he just stands back and nuts the people your president wants on his side. People that have no morals, people that have no values, and those that need somebody to save their ass and then are willing to die for nothing, or to get other people to die for nothing and pretend like they don't know nothing. See, there's entity possession that requires an exorcism. How do you exorcise the demons out of somebody? You can strap them down, beat the fuck out of them all day and night, torture them to death. As soon as you let them free, and all they're going to be thinking about is, oh, I want to get that motherfucker back. I want to get that motherfucker back. Or, I'm going to go take it out on somebody. Or, you're just going to crawl around moping and be begging for sympathy. So there's another problem with the system of human beings. It's so tragic. It's so terrible that those in and of at God stand alone and have to protect and look out for and set up a fucking game so everybody else will be running around a goddamn maze and questioning everything and trying to, and thinking they know stuff and just to keep everybody busy, just to keep the peace, running around a little fucking maze. Yeah, maze. It's all staked down to May 1st. That's God's birthday. universally. There's the womb. There's the portal. There's the X spot. The double X spot. The XGX spot. The May Sun spot. May the 1st. May the last. May B. B's just a circle that's whole. Looking like it's cut in half. Stuck on a pole. So none of the contents can spill out. But still whole in and of itself. It's not divided. But that's alluding to, to mind. Yeah, here's ground, a D. And here's a body. Oh, here's a D. Well, what's a D? There's not an I with a backwards C. Can't you see? Nobody can see. Because where's I? If it's not here. Oh, yeah. How do you explain that to anybody? Oh, yeah, I know. And people know. So, it pains me so bad. I hate seeing anybody get hurt. I hate seeing anybody go down. At the same time as, I love people. At the same time as, fuck, I can't really stand people. And what are they good for? They'll need to be in their own goddamn room doing their own fucking thing. It's so fucking terrible. Humanity is so terrible. It's so torturous. Yeah, what would God do if he was just one of us, as all of us, apart from us, and everybody's trying to get at him, get to him, and or there, apart from there, and everybody could hold it, apart from holding it, and then the one that came is the one that is, and that was already what is. But nobody can agree and nobody can get there. And everybody's still split up. And then what would everybody do? They'd worship him. And they'd fucking lock him up. Or they'd kill him. And then everybody like, oh, good. Now we beat God. No, you can't beat God. What the fuck? There's no winning at this fucking game. Because everybody can get to the same spot at the same fucking time. And ultimately, the very first rule, the first rule of Fight Club is, there's no talking about Fight Club. The first rule is, keep your goddamn hands and your feet to yourself, otherwise you don't know the fucking rules. God damn it. But we all have to use the computer, use the phone, use a pen, yeah, and then automatically, and use our feet to get around. How can we keep our hands and our feet to ourselves? But why would anybody ever hurt another human being? Ever. It makes zero sense. Zero. She can't just go around shooting everybody that fucking throws a punch at somebody. But at the same time, shit, you should almost, everybody that does that, you should almost get a fucking brand on their goddamn forehead every time. But then you'd have gangs of people with brands on their foreheads. Yeah, I'm an adulterer. I'm an assaulter. I'm a rapist of other people's bodies. And we're the gang of herders. We're herders. Yeah. Well, we're the sheep. They can't be contained because we don't respect nobody. And that's why we're going to be tough together as the ones that all should be shot. But we can't have a bunch of babies running around as all innocent. How does humanity cross that divide? When every single person is born into, fuck how it is, where one's at. It's different for everybody, but then we all get to the same spot. And then we all walk out from there. But there's no walking in or walking out of the door. When it comes down to the mind, as the crux, we're all separate and together. And nobody can possibly see. And if they could see, well, then they'd choose not to. especially if they could find a way to keep it to themselves away from everybody else and use that and hold it as a power over and under and all around anybody else in order to use it for an advantage. Which is pretty much how the system of the world goes. Worrying about humanity, people, and just wanting to be the best, whatever that could mean, not in a competitive way, is all I've ever been. But those that don't care, those are the ones who get ahead in life. Or the ones that do care too much. And both directions weigh everybody down. Knowing everything that could be known is so painful. And watching everyone suffer and having nowhere to go and everywhere to go and nobody to trust. Because eye is eye. I respect. But nobody else knows I, and nobody else respects. Unless I have to, for an advantage. But there's no advantage. There's only responsibility. Nobody wants that responsibility. Then, what's the other options? Not give a fuck? Fuck, nobody gives a fuck anyway. So what's a role? To help others and make it all work. For someone so great and so normal. When, in a sense, the most insecure and the most dangerous people are the ones like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna be the police chief. I'm gonna be the president. I'm gonna be the church leader. I'm gonna be the boss of this company. Those are the most dangerous motherfuckers there are, and they got everything they need. And using everybody under them, like Xerxes, being carried around separately from having to carry any of those people around. And having extra special rights to get away with things. Because who they know and their importance, which goes against the whole idea of equality and American and God as an entity in the first fucking place. Yeah, well, what's a pair of docks? When a dock is, well, you need a boat first, or you need over to get the land. And everybody's stuck on the shoreline, half in, half out of the water, like a crab. They can't evolve, and is always evolving, and unchanged since the beginning of time as a single-celled organism that we refer to as Jesus. Only so one guy could show up and have to shoulder all that shit for no fucking reason. And everybody's looking at him, or looking to for somebody to save him. And who's gonna save God? Nobody. What would Jesus do? Well, he'd probably end up just having to do like everybody else, unfortunately. Just be like, well, Fuck, I can't do shit for nobody. Fuck them all. I mean, I love you guys. But, yeah, I might as well just get the money, uh, stay out of everything, everywhere, get a wife, homeschool my kids, and live on an island for the rest of my life. And let the world fucking eat itself like it always has since the beginning of time. Nature balances itself out between animals and everything, but people can't fucking find a balance. They'll use up all the resources and be like, well, I guess we got to go take it from somewhere else. Or they'll just, I'm content. And then they'll be useless. I mean, it's really a war of attrition. The world is a terrible place. It's so wonderful. And people are the best thing in it. And the worst thing that could ever exist. That's the absolute truth. What could I do to help anyone? And why should anyone care? Other than everyone ought to. You can't make anyone do anything. So they have it set up so everybody just wastes their life. I might as well just enjoy what there is of it. And not really care about politics or religion or anything outside of my control, which is, less than a 6 foot tall and 3 feet wide by 2 foot square, a rectangle. And those that want to run shit and be in charge of people and have stuff, well, they can go do that. Run around in circles. Ultimately, I just want to spend time with a woman. There's nothing greater in the world. Everybody else can go to hell. That's what Jesus would do. So anybody speaks up, should they show you? Oh, yeah, JFK, you see, he spoke up about secrecy and secret societies. Look, they killed him. Yeah, we all better be we all better be scared and quiet. Oh, look what they did to Charlie. Oh, but hey, Donald, hey, did you go around and brag about, hey, I can kill anybody in broad daylight, get away with it. Hey, I'll just grab people by the pussy. Yeah, I'm just a fucking big ass loser, cocksucking, pedo, whatever. And I can get away with anything. But y'all need to follow the rules. And what about them immigrants? Yeah, because, well, there's evidence that he wasn't even born in the United States, if that were to matter. So he's an immigrant himself. While he's all talking about Obama's birth certificate. Where the fuck is yours, Donald? And who the fuck cares about him of anybody? He's about the most, but supposedly we're all important. Well, he just sends out mobs to hurt people, to break into the fucking government and and use the government to go out and break into people's homes and businesses and tear everybody down. What a man, what a man, what a man. That's like the ultimate bitch. So sad. So sad. And I can't even walk home at night by myself. Might as well be like a 15-year-old girl, and some dude sees me walking home. They want to fuck me. They want to take advantage. They want to hurt me for no fucking reason. Because they're totally ass out. They ain't no American. They don't deserve. They don't. They don't even understand that they don't have a property or have a right to life. And while they think that they got money and they got rights and they got a family and they got a church and there's some kind of, what's a man? A man would treat everybody good. I wouldn't be able to stand on anybody and push everybody around. There's the sign of a bitch. But hey, as soon as you say that to somebody, the first thing you want to do is turn into that bitch and kill you for no reason. Because the mind is on the cross, inside out, and they can't even see themselves inside or out. Just dog strapped to a fucking pole on a rope around their neck. And all this entitlement. Entitlement to what? Have another breath. That's what everyone should be appreciative of. Or be able to enjoy. If you want to take one away, take away from yourself. There's really nothing anybody can take from anybody else. There's only things we can give to each other. Appreciation, respect, benefit of the doubt. Helping hand. Keep everybody apart. Balancing. Like spinning plates on sticks.